Addio, mia bella Napoli, addio.
Ciao ragazzi and benvenuti to the 22nd episode of In the Shadow of Vesuvio. My name is Henry Bell and I am co-hosting this podcast, from the very rainy and grey west of Scotland. The Raggio di Sole in my life, Michele Borelli, is live from Napoli, from Naples. How is Naples? Are there rays of sunshine, or are you just the ray of sunshine in Naples?
I am the only ray of sunshine in your life. Is that what you're saying?
No,
Are you flirting with me? Finally?
Always. Yeah, your dreams come true. No, I have many rays of sunshine in my life, including all of the people listening to this podcast and all of my 605 followers on Twitter. But you might be the brightest ray of them all.
Nice. Well done. Hello, everyone. Yeah, no, Napoli is quite warm still, to be honest. It's almost beach-going weather right now. I'm thinking about it. Maybe one of these weekends before we get to November, I'll rent a boat. Last year I did it. I rented a boat in the last day of October, I think. Last Sunday, last day of October. It was quite warm. It was still quite warm. It was quite nice. So maybe I'll do it again.
What's your beach of choice then in this scenario?
Well, no, when I rent a boat, I just go around Ischia, go around Procida, Monte di Procida, Bacoli, these are the places. And yeah, no, they are quite nice. We don't really go to a beach, although there is a small place in Ischia where there is some natural, obviously, thermal water. So the sea is quite hot there, and there are some like natural pools. And I like to go there with the boat, and then we swim towards the thermal pools. And we just relax there. They're very hot, very, very hot.
Those of us listening, I mean, I've been to both Procida and Ischia, and they are just wonderful places. I know that Art Morelli on Twitter, his family are from Ischia. Pino Batman, the goalkeeper, is from Ischia, right?
I don't know. Not sure.
Yeah, he is. He's from Ischia. I can never pronounce his surname. How do you tell us how to pronounce Pino Batman's surname properly?
Tagliatella.
Yeah. Sorry, everybody.
Batman is fine.
I'm going to go home and practice. Those of us interested in the literary pursuits, one of Truman Capote's favorite places in the world was Ischia. In fact, he lived on Ischia, I think, for a bit, Truman Capote. And one of my favorite Italian novelists, Elsa Morante, her best book is set on Procida, Arthur's Island, I suppose is how you translate it. Give it a read. But you won't be thinking of any of that when you're on your boat. You'll just be soaking up the rays, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I mean, yeah. We don't really talk about that literally pursuits when on my boat days.
Yeah. But do you talk about Napoli?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Come on. I talk about Napoli basically every day.
To the fishes that look.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. But even if you just walk around town, you end up talking about Napoli sooner or later.
Can we play Osimhen and Raspadori in the same team? And then the fish just looks back at you blankly. Anyway, this is episode number 22. What is number 22 in the Napoli Tombola?
22 in the Napoli Tombola is Opaz, which is not to be confounded with a very popular bad word in Napolitan, but Opaz would mean il pazzo, the crazy man, the madman.
Well, which of the two of us is that? I suppose I feel more mad than you because I've already talked about Elsa Morante and Truman Capote on a football podcast. So
I'll leave that to you, yes. I'll leave you this medal.
Thank you. We've had the Naked Woman last week, the Madman this week. Will there be another podcast? If there is, number 23. Don't look ahead, listeners. You'll be so disappointed.
No, but number 23 is probably one of the most famous number in the Napoli Tombola. It's one of those numbers that are so common knowledge that you can go around and just say, you're such a 23, and everyone would understand that. So, yeah.
You're getting so good at podcasting, Michele. So you've just successfully trailed the next episode. We're motivating our listeners to tune in. So having left an unacceptable distance between podcasts, we're back straight away. So what we're going to do this week is we're going to talk about what Bologna was like in the stadium where Michele was, right? In Corvabisi.
Yes.
And talk about a couple of things, a couple of players, what we think about them. And then we might look ahead a little bit to away at Roma. But it's weird this season, isn't it? Because that Bologna game in a normal season would be full of talking points, we'd be full of energy about it, wouldn't we? Because so much happened. And weirdly, it just seems kind of, normal's the wrong word, but just like the amount of entertainment you get from Napoli this season, it seems quite sort of standard to have this kind of 5-goal Pazzo game. What was it like in the stadium? So do you want to just, again, like paint a picture? Well, pretty much a sellout, right, Michele?
It was pretty much a sellout except for lower Curva A, which was made available for sale on the day of the game for some reason. I mean, Napoli's choices regarding tickets and, the stadium in general don't really make too much sense. So I've stopped investigating why they do what they do. But yeah, no, I think it was about probably 45,000 people, something like that. Because let's not forget the total capacity is 54 now after the 2018 renovations. And about 3,000 of them are away seats, away tickets. And the away section was totally empty. So the Curva B lower was full and all the other sections were full except for lower Curva. So yeah, I would say about 45,000, which is a lot. It's really, really a lot.
Bologna.
Anything above 35,000 in Napoli is a success. And not because people don't want to go to the stadium, but because the decent seats in the stadium are about, I would say, probably 27,000. So if you exceed that, and if you sell about 35,000 seats, then it means that people really want to see the game. People really want to see the game, and Napoli doesn't make it easy with their ticketing pricing, because for some reason, I don't know if I already mentioned it in the podcast, but if I did, I'll say it again. The lower sections of the stadium in Serie A, for Serie A games, are more expensive than what they cost against Liverpool, for example, or Ajax or Rangers.
What's the name of the tombola number again? Tell me again.
The Madman. Yeah, I think we know who that is now. But yeah, no. So every time, I'm still not used to having a stadium so full, because again, having a full stadium in Napoli is not the norm. And it was quite nice on Sunday. It was not probably an evening game, but it was quite nice. A lot of people around the stadium, a lot of latecomers, a lot of traffic, a lot of chaos, obviously. But yeah, full stadium always gives you these, okay, it's a big game vibes. Usually you fill the stadium for Champions League games or, Milan, Inter, Juventus, these kind of games. So having a full stadium for Napoli, Bologna with tickets which are so expensive, because they are very expensive right now, it means something. It means that a lot of people, well, I don't like the term plastics, because again, I don't want to.
You are speaking to one. It's fine. I won't take offense, Michele.
No, but I don't believe in plastic fans. I mentioned that many times. I don't believe in gatekeeping, Napoli's fan base. I don't want to say that, some fans are more real than others. But obviously, there are more. In Italy, you would call them, which is still not that nice to say, but in Italy, you would call them occasionali. In Napoli, at least.
Yeah, occasionally. Yeah.
Occasional fans, So if we take out the negative connotations of the term, which it has in Italian, then yeah, I would describe a lot of people who are going to the stadium right now as occasionali. So people who normally wouldn't go to the stadium. And I can tell, because for what I do, obviously, with the tickets, I am in ticket stores quite a lot. And when I'm there, I can see how people go to buy tickets. And a lot of people have no idea what the stadium sections are, but like I helped a woman because she wanted lower distinct tickets, and she thought that, well, I mean, she got it wrong because she thought that the upper section was the lower section and the other way around. And yeah, so a lot of occasional fans, but the occasional fans of today are the hardcore fans of tomorrow. You know, some of them. Every one of us started as an occasional fan. So yeah, I honestly have no problem with that. And in Napoli
Welcome
being
them with open arms.
yeah, it's so much fun watching Napoli right now that I'm sure that a lot of fans, a lot of neutrals are becoming Napoli fans, a lot of occasional fans are becoming hardcore fans, and a lot of hardcore fans are, well, becoming even more crazy. So
Like
yeah,
acolytes. I don't know what zealots. Yeah. So it's interesting. But while we're on the literary references, I was thinking is the George Orwell quote that some animals are more equal than others.
Yeah.
But actually, I think all fans. Yeah, it's one of my real pet hates, particularly on Twitter when people tell other fans how to be fans. It's like, no, it's if someone had spoken to me like that when I was 7 or 8 and I started to find out about Napoli, and even though I lived in a small village near Manchester, I wouldn't have carried on being a Napoli fan. Like for me, I was a kid, I didn't understand all the stuff about what makes a real fan. I think actually, weirdly, Michele, I might bring in a listener question at this point because it's relevant to what you're saying. Had a bit of an interaction through our Twitter account at Shadow of Vesuvio, those of you that don't follow us, with a guy called David at Datoch1, Datoch1. Now, it's kind of relevant to this. So in reply to our release tweet, he says, thanks, guys, for the great podcast. No, thank you for tweeting.
Thank you.
I would like to ask Michele. It's fine. I don't mind that the question's not for me. You can ask me questions, listeners. It's fine. It's your show, Michele. It's fine. I'm a mere conduit.
Not true.
What's the reason the stadium isn't selling out on every game? Team is top placed in every competition. And what is most important? It's so much fun to watch it. Thank you. So I kind of replied a few times saying that, you've said before on the podcast about the difference in average earnings in comparison from Napoli to some of the other cities in Italy. Perhaps attending 2 games a week and be able to afford both might be a bit of a difference. You just suggested that perhaps the actual sight lines of the stadium mean that there's only a finite number of really good seats. What have you got to say to David about perhaps why not every single game is completely selling out?
Well, I mean, thank you for the question. First of all, it's not an easy answer because it has a lot of, there are a lot of different factors and elements to take into consideration. I can talk on a case by case basis. And for example, if we take the Bologna game into consideration, we just said that the stadium was almost completely full. But there were many reasons why people not to buy tickets for this game. And first of all, one of the main reasons, which is the main reason this season, and the main difference between games which have a sellout stadium and games which don't have a sellout stadium, is that the lower levels of the stadium, I've said that many times, but I'll say it again because it's important, and it's crazy to me that the lower levels of the stadium, which have a way worse view than the upper levels of the stadium, cost the same in Serie A. For Champions League, they apply a lower price for the lower levels. I have no idea why the pricing is different for Serie A games. They've asked this question to the Napoli guy responsible for ticket prices, and he said, I don't know. He said it doesn't make any sense what he said. He said something about, because of season tickets, blah, blah, blah. And we have different logics when it comes to Serie A games. I have no idea what that means. A bad seat is a bad seat. Doesn't matter if you play in Champions League or not. Actually, I would think it would be the opposite. So there is more demand in Champions League compared to Serie A, and you make tickets cheaper in the lower levels in Champions League. How does that make any sense? Like, Napoli, Liverpool, lower curva, 25 euros. Napoli, Bologna, lower curva, 35 euros.
That's just completely mad. It doesn't make any sense. Well, we know why. It's about how things look. So our dear owner who isn't the man with the moustache, knows the global audience will tune in to watch the Liverpool game much more than they will tune in to Bologna. I think in terms of what the brand of Napoli looks on a global stage, having a full stadium is perhaps more important. Or do you think he thinks about things like that?
I don't think so. I really don't think so. I honestly have no idea why they do what they do when it comes to the stadium and merchandising and a lot of things. I've just come to the conclusion that they just improvise these things. And that usually explains it. And but so this is one of the reasons why the stadium is not always full. The main reason is that about half of the stadium has very unappealing seats, and if you sell them at a lower price, then obviously you meet demand. So right now they're selling tickets for Napoli Rangers, and the lower curva is selling as many tickets as the upper curva. But for example, for Serie A games, they don't even open the lower curva sections until the upper sections are sold out. So as I said, they opened the lower curva A for sale only on Sunday morning, the game was on Sunday evening. So I still don't know why that makes sense. I mean, obviously it doesn't. But yeah, that's why for the Bologna game, you didn't have a sold-out stadium. And then obviously there are many, many other reasons. I would say that Napoli Stadium, when Napoli fans go to the stadium, despite the fact that it's, like the seats and the pricing, it's a lot of people.
And when they're released, actually, sorry, Michele, but I think that's really important detail just to dwell on, that for Bologna, the lower Cordova seats were not released until the morning of the game. So actually, another way of looking at it is that quite a lot of those tickets were sold in quite a short period of time, right?
Not really, because they opened the lower Curva B a few days before. When lower Curva B was sold out on Saturday evening, they opened the lower Curva A. And lower Curva A was, I don't think they sold many tickets for that, like 100, something like that.
Okay.
Again,
Fair enough. But I can see, I think quite a lot of people who tune in are watching Napoli mostly on TV. They love the club. They would give anything to go and see the club twice a week. And I can see, often I see on Twitter people get frustrated. It's also non-Napoli fans kind of saying, why is the stadium? But I think your nuance is really important here, that you're paying a lot of money for a seat that is a really, really terrible view. And you're being expected at the moment to do that twice a week, right? Yeah.
But to be honest, they're selling a lot of tickets right now. I don't think Napoli has ever had such a big attendance in like 15 years. I would say, we are selling out all Champions League games, and the Napoli Rangers. And again, prices are very high right now. So Napoli Rangers cost exactly the same as Napoli Liverpool, which again doesn't make any sense to me, but whatever. And it's gonna be sold out. Napoli Bologna was very expensive, and it was mostly sold out.
And also the crap seats are the most visible ones. So when you're watching on TV,
that's right.
The seats that are not full are the lower Curva seats. And also mostly the ones on the sides, which are even worse than the Curva lower ones, right? Or are they?
No, they are the lower Curva, the ones on the side, and the one you see on television is the lower Distinti.
Yeah.
And Napoli decided to give a lot of those tickets to football academies. So yeah, a lot of those seats are already full. I mean, they don't really go on sale. Not a lot of them go on sale. And I just want to make it clear that it's not out of, some kind of, love for the Campania region or the Napoli regional football academy. They are forced by the city council to do these things. Every time Napoli gives any kind of discount or stuff like that, tickets away, they are always like they have no choice. They are forced to do it. Even when they are forced, sometimes they have to get sued because they don't comply. So that's the club we have when it comes to, Napoli has always done very well on the market, and the core business of this club is obviously football, like results, but anything else doesn't really work. So that's why a lot of people are quite harsh when it comes to De Laurentiis and other managers, because a lot of things really don't work. And if you live in the city, you can tell that you experience that every day.
Yeah, absolutely. So there you go, David. I hope that's answered your question a bit. One of the great things of having Michele here is that we get that insight so directly. If you do want to ask us a question, just send us a DM at Shadow of Vesuvio. So let's rerun. So Bologna, before the game, so you were pretty busy in your day job giving out tickets and stuff, but you probably in the old days wouldn't have seen home at Bologna as a time when you'd be really busy, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, it's becoming quite busy in general, but also because obviously, Napoli is doing so well, so everyone wants to come. A lot of South Korean fans wants to see Kim. Some Georgian fans want to see Kvara.
And so were you giving out tickets to South Koreans and Georgians on Sunday?
Yeah, a few.
Amazing.
A few, yeah. That's quite nice. Yeah.
So, did you manage to get into the game on time, or were you a bit late because you were giving out tickets?
No, fortunately, people are behaving. So I've been, well, not too early, but I almost got in. No, I got in at the end of warm up. There was a record, unprecedented. So yeah,
thank you. Did you manage to see Mario Rui scoring a goal in the warm up?
No, but I was listening to the crowd's reaction to his shots. So.
That is the way you gauge the temperature of the tifosi, really, isn't it? On how they react to Mario Rui. I suppose on that, I'm quite curious to know, like, we're part of this unprecedented 10-game across all competitions winning streak. Are you noticing anything different in that pre-game atmosphere, or is it, are the ultras just, always the same, come rain or shine? Is there a different feeling? Are there any different chants, any different songs, or is it just there's a uniform level of commitment to this team?
No, the ultras, by design, the ultras are always the same. And that is also nice because obviously they're the same against Liverpool and then the same against Cremonese or any lower, weaker side. So no, they usually don't change their ways, but obviously the atmosphere is a little bit different because you have a lot of, as I said, a lot of like new fans, let's say. Of fans who are not used to the stadium, and you can tell from outside. A lot of people get the gates of the stadium wrong. A lot of people have no idea. I like people stop me outside the stadium. Even people I didn't help with tickets, they stop me because they see I'm helping people navigate the stadium when I give tickets, and they say, so I can see what you're doing. Can you tell me where I have to go? Like, can I do this? Can I do that? A lot of people are clueless right now.
You're so close to getting a job at the club, Michele. You're so close. We're going to have to stop doing this podcasting because you're going to be like head of match day experience for SSC Napoli.
That doesn't exist. That will never exist. Napoli doesn't really hire. They don't. Yeah, well.
Spalletti listens to this show, so go on, Luciano. If you hire Michele, just make sure that you keep him free for this show. So we've got the ultra. They're always at full voice. It's presumably bouncing. I mean, the atmosphere was great. I thought watching at home, it really came out of the stadium. It was a bit old Napoli though, the first 40 minutes where we played really well, right? But nothing happened. And then Bologna sneaked in a goal. What was that feeling like in Curva B when Zirkzee, who I think had a really good game, looked very dangerous actually throughout, scored? Obviously your in the moment reactions are full-blooded, as I've witnessed twice now in person, although I was one who got in trouble in the pub in Glasgow, not you. What was the feeling in the curva? What was your feeling when that Bologna goal went in?
So I started to have bad feelings around the 15th or 20th minute of the game because it was clear that the team was, to me, it was clear that the team was quite tired mentally. I was talking to some friends in the stadium before the game started, and I was like, I told them, I must admit that if I could, probably I wouldn't have come to the stadium today because I'm so tired. And, like, if the fans are tired, in terms of, how many games we're attending and, like going to the stadium and stuff, I can only imagine how tired the players must be mentally,
true.
obviously, mentally. And, they started well because obviously we're the better team and we were playing at home. But I would say after Politano somehow managed to miss that chance, was kind of like a penalty, basically, all alone in front of the keeper. After that, I think the team, well, I wouldn't say maybe they didn't give up, but they kind of relaxed. They pushed hard in the first 20 minutes, and then after that, after Politano missed, they stepped back a little bit, and Bologna started to get control of the game, and the goal was just was in the air. Let's say, it's you could
Classic
tell a
old
lot
Napoli.
a lot of players just stopped tracking back. They really, you could tell there was, at least my feeling, they kind of relaxed. They were like, we're gonna win this anyway, so we don't really need to push too hard, which is something Spalletti also highlighted after the game, and he said, we really, I think the players understood that they really can't relax during the game when we are the kind of team which always has to push to win games. We have to control and dominate the games, otherwise we don't win, or at least it becomes less likely for us to win, which is the case. Yeah.
What does that nervousness in the stands in Corvo B look like, sound like, feel like? So, do people just keep committing to the chance, or do people start to talk to each other a bit more? Like, how does that feeling of nervousness manifest itself? Or is there no difference?
No, there is a little bit of difference, but I would say this season, like, even, obviously you don't celebrate and you're not happy after you concede a goal. But, Napoli has come back from situations of disadvantage in a game a few times right now, 4 or 5 times.
Fourth time this season that they've come back behind.
There you go. So I'm not going to say people remain optimistic, but like the team, we remain focused on the game. We're like, okay, it's early enough. There's a lot to do. We can still do a lot. We can score many goals in just 10 minutes. So let's not panic and let's stay focused. And unfortunately, I had a friend of mine. I mean, I don't really know him. Outside of the stadium, we only meet in Curva B, and we always meet in the same place. So we just watched the game together, and we comment the game. This person was frustratingly optimistic about the game, and he kept saying to me, "We're gonna win 4-2, 4-2, 4-2." And every game, he turned to me and said 4-2, just with his fingers, 4-2, 4-2. And I mean, he came close. I mean, it was almost a 4-2, but he didn't have any.
As someone that has watched 2 Napoli games with you live, I know that is not the correct approach to watch a football game with you.
No,
that must have got on your nerves quite a lot.
Yes, but like the team, we remain focused, and I do think that the Bologna's goal was due and was necessary for us to wake up. It's the kind of, because the team was too relaxed, and it's better to concede so early in the game rather than staying relaxed and conceding in the last minute of the second half, and then by that time you have no way to obviously to tie the game and to fix the problem. So it was quite clear that it was probably, in my opinion, it was emotional tiredness, if you can say that.
Well, we have a phrase in English, I think more in England than America, being tired and emotional, and that's usually when you've had a bit too much to drink. But let's apply that to kind of match day fatigue. Yeah, well, I mean, it obviously worked because after that we scored after 4 minutes, and it was quite the game. It was quite the game, and I do think, I'm quite sure, and at the end of the game, it was clear to me that this game, last season or any other season in the past few years, you lose this game. It was the kind of game, the classic game Napoli plays after big Champions League games. 100%.
You're tired, you feel somewhat accomplished, and it's easy to feel accomplished for a team like that after you've won 9 games in a row. So you kind of feel like, okay, I've done what I had to do. I don't really need to do much. I'm the better side anyway, so we're probably gonna win this game anyway. That's not the right attitude, and that's why I was calling for like big changes in the second half, because the players who were playing in the first half, they were quite clearly tired. And I must admit as well that I was calling for Kvara to be subbed off, because while he's quite good and he's very good, it was like in the second half, it basically stopped running defensively. We had a huge, like if you watch the game again, or if you remember what the game was, we conceded a lot of chances on our left side, defensively speaking, because Kvara wasn't tracking back anymore.
And he's usually really good at that as well, isn't he?
He's usually quite, because even in the first half, he was quite good at that. But in the second half, he basically stopped running to cover defensively. And we had huge gaps, huge holes there. Thing is, Kvaratskhelia is the kind of player which can create anything out of nowhere all the time. Yeah. So it's very, very hard to sub off Kvaratskhelia.
So many chances in that first half. There's sort of 4 chances that came out of it. Yeah, I mean, just to say that he played 90 minutes against Bologna, 77 minutes against Ajax, 90 minutes against Cremonese, 64 minutes against Ajax, and I think even that he came off too late. Then actually, 80 minutes against Torino, and then for Georgia he played 72 minutes, then 90 minutes, 87 minutes against Milan. He's getting a lot of minutes in those legs, but he's still so important to this team, right? I mean, what an assist for Osimhen. I think I agree that those changes at halftime I thought were brilliant. Bringing on Osimhen and Lozano. Presumably the Corvero was pretty pleased with those changes.
Yeah, no, they were necessary, and they warmed up during the whole within the first and second half. They were warming up quite hard, Osimhen and Lozano. So yeah, you could tell that they would have been subbed in immediately, and that was the case. Yeah, but we definitely have a Kvara problem when it comes to replacing him, because Elmas it's probably one of the worst performer in the team right now.
And he was writing some crap on Instagram, wasn't he, about the bench things?
Yeah, I mean, he was joking, but still, it's
doesn't really help.
So
okay, we won't get too much about the game, but that's really interesting about it. What do you remember the most from the game? So again, we're walking along Piazza Plebiscito, we're 85. And you're going to say, I remember the Bologna game, Henry. What was the sort of the thing that you'll take away most from this game, from being in the stadium?
The stress in the last 15 minutes, probably. I was 100% sure, the feeling as a Napoli fan, all the trauma you have from the past, this game kind of activates all the, all the past trauma, and you see Bologna scoring not just 1, but 2 goals to win this game. You can tell, you can see that. So I was very scared, and I mean, Bologna was actually pushing quite hard towards the end of the game. So again, the feeling was, I don't know if I was telling people around me, like, I don't know if we're gonna win this game, but if we do, it's crazy, and any other season you lose. And there was. I honestly think that was the case. These are like 2 or 3 points which we found, like, literally it's a miracle, like out of nowhere we gained these points. In Napolitan you would say you find them on the ground, because there's something so random. I mean, I wouldn't say this win is random, it's definitely deserved, but my point is that this kind of game, any Napoli team in the past, I would say 10 years at least, you lose or tie, you definitely don't win this game.
Even with Alex Merritt doing his best to handle the points to blind. I got in trouble on Twitter for just, in a very mild way, expressing that Alex Merritt makes me a bit nervous, and there's some very defensive Napoli fans got on my back, and we had a very civilized exchange. So if any of you are listening, I do appreciate the civilized nature of our interaction, but you were completely wrong. Okay, so we haven't got loads of time today, so yeah, let's move on, I think, to Roma very quickly. Why can't you go to Roma, Michele?
because I'm from Napoli, therefore I'm a criminal.
Isn't this against like the Geneva Convention of Human Rights? Because like you should be able to. It is like insane. So like people who were born in Campania, right, are not allowed in the stadium.
No, people who live in Campania. Like if you lived in Campania, you wouldn't be able to go. So it's usually when it comes to ticket restrictions in Italy, it's never about where you were born, but it's about where you live. And that you can see, we can tell. I mean, it's also the case for the Rangers game. So I'm quite scared about that game, by the way, because in terms of clashes in the city, because a lot of Rangers fans are coming over, and it's
and there isn't much love between the clubs legally after the fiasco of the game here in Glasgow.
Yeah. So yeah, a lot of people, and for that game, obviously, if you live in the UK, you can get tickets legally. You can get tickets.
If you're listening to this in Glasgow, which is just down the road from me, don't go to Naples. Go to Paisano in the West End of Glasgow. Have a nice pizza, then find a nice bar to watch the game in. And honestly, it's really not worth going over there and causing trouble. Please don't.
Yeah. Or if you come, just enjoy the city, watch the game in a pub. You'll be more than fine to do that. But please don't try to get tickets, because first of all, you're not going to be able to, because when you get tickets, you have to give your ID, you have to present your ID, and on your ID, it's going to say, resident of the UK, you live in the UK. And even if you somehow succeed in tricking the ticket store clerk into releasing your tickets, your ID will be checked at the gates. A lot of people don't know that. I'm still surprised that people don't know that. But all sport events in Italy need tickets to be customized. And for all sport events, you will be checked. The ticket will be checked against your ID. So you must present ID. A lot of people come to me and say, oh, what? Do they really do that? Are they really that tight with the checks? They're not tight. They are normal checks. It's not like they look at you in the face and they're like, you don't seem like the kind of guy who should come to the stadium. Show me your ID. No. To get inside the stadium, you must show ticket and ID. So there is no way around it. I always get surprised when I get someone who says, but I was here like 2 or 3 times. They never asked for ID. And I wonder if it's my problem then, because every time I go to the stadium, any queue I go to, all the people in front of me and behind me, they have to show ID. I've been going to the stadium for a long time. It's
I had to show my passport. I had to show my passport.
But of course you have to. Otherwise, they don't let you in.
And Michele, when you came to Glasgow, you didn't try to get into the stadium. You went to a bar and watched it. So the least you can do, Rangers Tifosi, is to do exactly what Michele did. Okay, well, I'm glad we've said that. That's actually really, really important.
For the Roma game, obviously, we didn't talk about that. The Roma game, yes. So we can go. Tough game. I would have loved to go. I would have probably gone if I weren't such a criminal.
It's true. I feel nervous even on Zoom talking to you, Michele. I feel like anything could happen.
Yeah, I know. If I could, I would stab you right now. But I can't. The technology is still not here.
One day. We can hope.
Yeah, but it's going to be on the sports side of things. It's going to be very difficult, obviously. Last year, we faced Roma in a very similar circumstances, because we came from, I don't want to be wrong, but I think there were 8 wins in a row.
I think it was. There was that great banter between Spalletti and Mourinho before the game.
That's right.
Yeah, I really.
That's right. Yeah. So we definitely, and then we tied in Rome. I think 0-0, something like that. We didn't even score. So I
would take that. To be honest, I would absolutely rip.
You know what? I wouldn't, because then I even said that last year. A lot of people after last year said, but a point in Rome is 1 point earned. It's not 2 points lost. And I would say, I said, you know what? I don't think so. Right? Roma is not that good. They're good. At least last year they weren't that good. They lost 6-2 or 6-1, 6-0 in Norway. So it's definitely doable. And a lot of teams went to Rome and won. So it's definitely doable. I really wouldn't take 1 point in Rome. We have to try to win.
breaking this
they are,
team down, breaking Roma down is going to be tough. They're playing awful anti-football, but they're hard to break down. And I think having Osimhen back is good news, to be honest. We need a bit of chaos to disrupt that back line.
We really need Anguissa too, but I don't.
He might be back, I was reading, or
I don't think so. I don't know. I don't think he's training with the team yet, and it's Thursday today, so we'll see. I don't.
He did all right against Bologna, but he was just a bit cat on a hot tin roof, wasn't he? Like he did some good stuff, but he just needed to occasionally just calm down a bit. Like you've got
Dombele.
Yeah, when those three play together, like Ongisa, Lobotka, and Zielinski, there's just a sense that everyone knows exactly what they're doing. There's a number, a great excitingness to what they do, but there's also a kind of strange calmness to what they do. And we didn't quite have that. It's like what you were saying the week before about feeling calm when you had Kim on the ball. I don't always feel 100% calm with Ndombele in that midfield, although he did have his moments.
No, definitely 100%. It's like I would say, technically speaking, is very good and maybe one of the best players we have in the team right now. In terms of skills, like mere technical skills, like the way he dribbles, the way he passes the ball. But I think the problem is physical a bit because he gets tired easily right now, and tactical because sometimes it's just like he's all over the place, and it seems to me like he's a little bit chaotic when it comes to, tactical position.
Partly that's fitness as well. I still think he's not 100% fit, and that does mean that your body can't quite do what your head wants you to do, if you know what I mean. Like if you haven't quite got that fitness.
Yeah, Spalletti's focusing a lot on him right now. On him and Clara. Because tactically speaking, both of them can improve. I would say Kvaratskhelia has improved a lot already. You can tell. Yeah. Which is amazing to me. It's just 2 months. But Ndombele...
But this is what Spalletti's good at. He's so good at this kind of individual attention on players. So I think Ndombele will come good. I don't think he's quite the finished article yet in terms of being match fit, in terms of understanding the club. He was quite a late addition to the squad as well. So we've got to give him a bit of time. But we need everybody firing on full blast. Okay. I'm really excited. I will be nervous as hell for the whole of the weekend. Do we have a Neapolitan expression of the week, Michele?
Yes, we do. And it's linked to what I said before. So what I'm seeing right now, even with the business I run, it's a lot of new fans, a lot of, like maybe kind of like casual fans who are now paying attention to the team. I would say, when Napoli plays so well, it's impossible to escape the Napoli talk. Like even people who don't care about the team, like my girlfriend, for example, like they know what Napoli does. They know the results. They know everything because the whole city
cares a bit. I've seen her interest slightly.
No, I mean, her father is a big Napoli fan, and her boyfriend is obviously a big Napoli fan. So she must care about Napoli. Otherwise, she's not allowed in the house. And
if you are listening, hello, we must meet again. She's a great woman.
Yeah, she is. But so the phrase of the week is connected to this and to the new fans we are gaining and the old fans which we lost in the past and which are coming back. The phrase is "Quando Melloni esce Rus, ognuno ne vuole una fella." In Italian, it would be "Quando il cocomero è rosso, ognuno ne vuole una fetta." And in English, it would be "When the watermelon is red, everyone wants a slice."
I love it.
So again, I don't mean it as a, in negative terms. I'm not the kind of person who says, now you come back. Now that Napoli plays well, you're support. I could say that. I could say, as a season ticket holder, I could say that, but I won't. I really don't.
So what you're saying is enjoy the watermelons.
I'm happy that a lot of people are getting closer to the team again. I'm very happy about that. I'm very happy that the stadium is full of occasionali. I really don't mind. That's how you get new fans. I will never forget. I was born in the 90s, and a lot of people from my generation ended up supporting Juve, Inter, Milan because when I was growing up, when we were growing up, Napoli was shit, was super bad, was irrelevant, to be honest, like simply irrelevant. It was even like one of the worst teams in Serie B even for a number of years. So a lot of people I know, a lot of people in my generation ended up supporting Inter, Milan, Juventus. So I would take not a classic, but a casual Napoli fan any day over, Inter, Milan, Napoli, Juve fans from Napoli. Absolutely. So, and then again, that's how you start, one day you go, oh, Napoli's playing so well. Then you end up going again. And sooner rather than later, you end up having a season ticket in Curva B and recording podcasts with Dr. Henry Bell every week. So yeah, that's usually how it goes. I've been told.
And actually, hang on. I got my dad staying at the moment. I wonder if he's going to come in and say hi. Probably not, because we have to go. But the man who got me interested in Napoli completely by mistake is in the flat with me now. But I think he's
nice.
He's writing. He's a writer, my dad, at the moment. So
next episode.
He was a TV producer. I think I've said to a few people he made a documentary in Naples in the 1980s. And when I watched the World Cup, I was like, why are they not booing Maradona? And it was like, because it's Naples. But I think he's off right. Anyway, Michele, thank you so much for that. It was great. Watermelons. I won't tell you the time I got. Somebody tried to charge me €13 for a watermelon when I was in Italy, not in Naples, I'll have you know. And my girlfriend, who is Italian, really kicked some ass when that happened. I think that they made an assumption that we might be tourists.
Nice.
But anyway, I love it. Yeah, well, let's hope the ripe watermelon continues to be enjoyed this weekend against Roma. Great. Okay, well, if you want to find us on Twitter, the show is at Shadow of Vesuvio. Michele is at Napoli Tickets. I'm at Henry Bell Calcio. Please do drop us a line if you want a question about anything. If you want to ask Michele a question, go for it. If you want to ask me a question, I don't know why you would, but absolutely feel free to do that. In the meantime, everyone behave. Rangers fans stay in Glasgow. It's the second best city in the world to Naples. And Forza Napoli.
Sempre.